Good morning, family. Listen, I want to share something. I was just talking with the elder. He said he was 70 years old. I would have never known he was 70. Nice looking older white guy. But we were sharing some things, and he heard me earlier when I was saying that less is best, not consuming ourselves, not being consumed by the things of the world. And he finished, after I finished speaking, he spoke to me. He said, what you were saying, he said, that's exactly right. He said, a man's worth, I think he said, a man's worth is not tied to his material possessions, meaning not just a man, but human beings. Our worth is not tied to our material possessions, right? It's intrinsic. It's who we are as a person, the amount of love and peace and joy that we have in our souls. And, I was thinking about that this morning. I want to downsize. I don't care about the finer things in life. As long as I have the basics of what I need and I feel good in my body, I can live off of less than what I really need, and I can be freer. The things of the world, tying ourselves to the things of the world. I want to eat good. We were talking about food. Nowadays when you want healthy food and you're not growing your own, you can get healthy food, but it is an investment. It is costly. It's not cheap. He talked about how his wife is dealing with Alzheimer's, and we were talking about some natural ways to deal with things, and him and his children, how they invest in natural foods. Health is wealth, and sometimes we spend so much, or growing up, we look at things from afar, or look at people from afar, and sometimes you may compare yourself with people and think that you're missing out or think that you're not doing enough. But really, when you start to really look within and say, what is it that I really need? What is it that I really want? What really makes me happy? When you begin to when we shed all of these other influences and these energies off of us, and we get by ourselves, sometimes you may find that you really love yourself, but who you are as a person, or the things you like, it may not be popular in the worldly ways, but it's okay. We're not here. We're peculiar people. We're not here to fit in with the ways of the world. We are chosen to stand out as God's kingdom, God's ambassadors. So therefore, infirmity should not be taking us out prematurely. We got to leave this earth. We don't have to leave here due to infirmity. We can leave here because, okay, our time is up. But we all have to go back. This is not our final resting ground. But we don't have to leave here to infirmity, neglect our health, neglect putting the good things in our body, neglect our peace by going out here and saying, oh, Susie and Bobby got these nice cars, I'm gonna go and get me one nicer than them. Why would you do that? Why would you put yourself in debt like that when everything you got is already paid for? You might be driving a car that's older, but that car still give you 20 to 35 or 40 miles per gallon, and it's paid for. You don't have no car payment. It's older, so your taxes on your car is not even $100 or less than $100 a month, or less than $200, a year or something like that. Why would you go and put yourself back in bondage when you can be free? And you may earn money, but why not go out, just open your mind, explore things you never explored before. There are retreats. Many of us have trauma, have a lot of pain that we have carried in our souls for a long time. And you don't have to watch nobody and get jealous and envious that nobody else smile on their face, or try to say something to break nobody else smile on their face, because you can tap into that on the inside too, of what you need. Are you living beyond your means? Are you trying to rob Peter to pay Paul? Are you struggling to keep up with the Joneses? Or are you struggling to keep things so people can look at you like you are a success? What this man said has stuck with my spirit. A man's success is not tied to his material possessions. Or are you living in freedom? Do you really don't care? Like I've reached a place where I don't care what people think about me. I don't care how people feel about me. I don't care whether people support me or whether people don't support me. It would be nice to have a lot of support, But at the end of the day, once you stop caring about the external things and you focus on the internal things, and you love yourself, then you will be able to properly attract and identify real support when it shows up, real love when it shows up, genuine, authentic friendships when they show up, even though they may come like a needle in a haystack. But then you will know how to recognize that good energy, and you'll know how to discard toxic energy, users, liars, manipulators, people that treat you like you are beneath them. You don't deserve that, so you can move around that without getting angry, without being nasty, without arguing with folks because they made you feel rejected, and so now you feel hurt, you feel that pain. No, you know how to properly absorb it and realize anybody that rejects you is not aligned with you, so you can move around that and keep on walking in your lane. You will attract, and you will eventually meet people who are on your level, right? You'll meet people who are doing that same thing, because that'll be where you are now. There are retreats that we can go to out here that people who are really love themselves and focusing on healing themselves and learning new ways of thinking. People invest in those things, and you can go and spend time at a beautiful luxury retreat or a luxury resort to get some, therapy or, investment like that. Or you can buy yourself some good, healthy things, even if you don't feel like putting your hand to the plow and growing your own stuff, because gardening ain't easy, baby. Trust me, I've tried it, and even if you got a little small mini farm and mini stuff going on, it still takes work, and I've reached a point where less is best when it comes for me. In this new season that I'm going in my life, I used to hatch chickens in the incubator every year. Why would I do it? Initially, I was just so fascinated, loved the animals. I love being around animals. I still want to expand my farm, a big, very large livestock farm, but not right now. I'm in a season where going into 2026, I'm focusing on nurturing myself and taking a lot of pressure off of me. I didn't realize how much I was carrying until I really had to sit one day and I was so heavy and felt so down, and nobody asked me how I was doing. The closest person to me left me when I was going through some of the hardest things and seeing me work on some things that had so much pressure on me, and didn't even call, even now, like so much time has passed, didn't even say, hey, did you get this straight? When I left you, I saw you were so frustrated and you was going through so much, but did you get this straight? And that, a lot of that allowed me to see just how much I was carrying and still pouring out to other people. Now I'm focusing on me. I'm focusing on nurturing myself. If it starts to feel heavy, if it starts to bring stress, I know I'm gonna fall back. I fall back a little bit. I have to examine myself, and it takes being alone sometimes. Sometimes you feel like being alone is a punishment because it doesn't feel good. But really, when we are alone, that's how we really learn the voice of God, and our mind gets open to a lot of the things that we've been tolerating, a lot of the environments that we've been in, a lot of the connections that we've had, that we get to really examine when we're by ourselves. Was this over here lifting me up, or was it draining me? Was it picking me up and pulling me back down, or was it really sustaining me, pouring something new into me? And as you begin to fall in love with yourself and see that everything you need is on the inside of you, and when you get out here, you begin to do things that really nurture your spirit, pick your spirit up. Even listening on social media sometimes, you got to block your ears out to things that are very negative and that bring the spirit down, that don't really enlighten the mind for something better, And when you begin to be by yourself and see what really picks you up, what lifts you down, you learn yourself that way. And as you learn yourself, you become more happier, you feel more freer, you feel more at peace. You may have times, moments at times when you feel really lonely, but then you still got to go inside of yourself too and think about what you're thinking about and what's causing these feelings, right? Because sometimes being alone is God's protection. Being alone and not being somebody that's just out here that's real popular, everybody know your name, it's a form of protection, right? Because when everybody knows about you, how many celebrities over the years I've seen, they can't have a normal life anymore because everywhere they go, a lot of people know their name. And then sometimes when people know they're a celebrity and know they got money, they want to sue. I've even I was listening to Reginae, Lil Wayne's daughter, Toya, and Lil Wayne interviewed Reginae on her show, on her podcast. And Reginae even shared a story about how when she was just a child, a baby in school, the teacher knew who she was, but the teacher was trying to hold her back in class, and she was like, I'm not staying back. So as she go to walk past the teacher, she just brushed, her hands didn't touch the teacher or anything. She brushed, she walked past and they must have briefly touched. And the teacher said, I'm gonna sue. Why would a teacher come at a child like that? Because she knew who she was. You see how you can be targeted when people feel like you got money? And some of you've shared certain things with me about your investment portfolio, things that you got going on. Don't tell nobody. Don't try to compete with nobody. When God bless you and elevate you financially, keep it to yourself. And not that you have to really hide or whatever, but people are cruel. People will sit back and watch you and try to start trouble with you sometimes, just so they can try to find a way to pull from you or pull you back or stop your progress or take finances from you that they really don't deserve. Be happy and content from the inside and do the things that make you happy. And it's so much of this trend that has been going on. I saw a brother the other day where he said he went back to work his corporate job, where people were telling, and this brother has a large YouTube following, after he went back to work and people were clowning him, oh, you going back to work, you got all this YouTube. He was like, he ain't putting all his eggs in one basket. He's not going to be a slave to YouTube, even though he may make good revenue from YouTube. But you have people telling you, drop your 9 to 5, get on YouTube. And so you have young people who have quit jobs and think that you could just get on YouTube and that's going to be your income. And so now you have people who, they profit lie, they have to perform even when they don't want to. They have to deal with the nastiness because you're opening yourself up to the whole world. So you got a lot of people that don't like you, a lot of people that don't like what you're saying, people that come out and just dump their nastiness in your comments on your channel. You really want to fight to put up with that for some coins? You really want to let your soul be deteriorated for that? Be natural. If you're going to create a YouTube channel, I'm not telling you don't do it. I'm not being negative in no kind of way. But when I see people look down on a 9 to 5 and tell people, oh, stop this and get on YouTube, like it's just so easy, you know, and then they want you to invest in something themselves. Let me certify you to be this. Let me certify you to be a life coach. If you got it inside of you, if you got the gift of wisdom, if you got a gift where you know how to do hair, or you know how to do something, you grow food, you got knowledge on taxes, you got whatever your gift is, you don't need nobody to certify you in that, for you to tell what you know, for you to share your knowledge. You know, capitalization, a lot of people capitalizing off of other people's ignorance and getting people to quit jobs, and then you get out here and you're struggling trying to make a check off of YouTube. You know, fans ain't loyal, people ain't, you know, you got people that'll love you today, and after some time pass on, it's maybe something you do or something you say, or you maybe not saying what they need, and they may look at you for emotional support and you're not as consistent as they want you to be, and then they don't love you no more. People change. Put your trust in God and look within. Share when you want to share. Be free. Do not let anything get you in bondage. That's all I'm trying to say. Less is best. That's just my 2 cents, okay? I'm sharing my opinion. And again, everybody has an opinion, just like everybody got a hold, right? Less is best. Live in freedom. What is your freedom? How do you want life to look for you? Stop looking at somebody else's life and trying to model their blueprint, model their paradigm. Now, other people can inspire us. There's people that inspire me. I got older sisters and brothers that inspire me, right? But it's not like I'm going to get out here and try to compete with anybody to take on burdens on myself to survive. No, I want to be more freer. When you start feeling that freedom to think how you want to think, freedom to live how you want to live, freedom to, you know, eat how you want to eat, freedom to, you know, be able to invest in things that are good for you. When you start tasting freedom, real freedom, whether it's even sometimes some people say freedom to grow your own food, go in your backyard and pick up what you want. That's a blessing. Whatever freedom look like or whatever you desire, because you know the capacity which you're capable of. But don't put, like the older folks used to say, don't bite off more than you can chew. My mama used to say that a lot. Don't bite off more than you can chew. You know? Meaning don't go out here and get yourself in something. You know how many repossessions I have seen in this last 2 months alone for people who have just went to the dealership and gotten something new and that new thing got taken back? I've seen vehicles picked up. I work hand in hand with some of the repo companies. I've seen vehicles picked up with less than 10,000 miles on it. I've seen a vehicle picked up with the paper tag still on it. The guy went there, put the down payment, got his car, and went 3 months behind, couldn't even make the first payment. Who you gonna get them stuff for? I know you ain't got the money to come in like that. Don't rob Peter to pay Paul, baby. Be free. And when you see somebody doing something that you can't do, if that person is not belittling you, making you look bad, don't hate on other people's blessings. Clap for other people. Because if you connected or you can see somebody else's blessing, yours is around the corner. God will bless you too. And if you're humble enough, if you're genuine, and if you're not a hater, you got love and respect in your heart, that person might just throw some knowledge your way without trying to capitalize on you, without trying to bring you under them and take from you, even though you might be already down. It pays to be humble. I remember the old folks used to say, manners and respect will take us further than money will, right? But anyway, I done went up and talk on all kind of stuff, but that's just my little 2 cents. It blessed my soul to talk to this guy. He's 70 years old. And, you know, he don't even look very good. You know, a lot of guys, people, we're aging very, very gracefully. You know, I had some young girl tell me the other day, this young girl, she said, you about 30 years old. I said, no, baby, I'm 40. She said, well, you aging good. I said, well, thank you, I appreciate it. And I had a young guy, I was in a jacuzzi the other day. A young guy, he's, I think he said he's 29 years old, and he wanted to chat, and we sat and chat for so long. And he was like, you about 30. He said, you're about 30, I would say, or 33, 35. I said, I'm 40. He was like, you're aging gracefully. When we take care of ourselves and stay in a childlike nature, some people may not like that, but you know, I believe in staying in a childlike nature. Not saying that I can't be mature and have adult conversation, because there's a time and place for everything, but just getting out and enjoying life. You know, I still ride a hoverboard. I still got, y'all seen on here, my iScooter. I still ride my iScooter. Whatever I feel like doing. Sometimes I wake up, if I'm not going to work, what do I feel like doing? I may feel like just going to the park, walking my dogs. I may feel like coming to the jacuzzi or coming to the steam room. I may feel like going out, just getting on my hoverboard, playing some music while I'm riding, thinking of good memories. Whatever I feel like doing. I don't need nobody to applaud me or like me. You know, but when I meet people on that same journey and we're congruent, then that's a good thing. That's a blessing. It's always a blessing to meet like-minded people. But I don't live my life to impress other people, because that's a form of bondage. And I care about how I treat people, and I also care about how other people treat me and make me feel. I'm not going to give my presence to nobody that makes me feel like I'm beneath them or belittles me or disrespect me. You know, I'm not going to people please anymore and get people things and give people to things and to show them my goodness, because that still doesn't show people your goodness. Sometimes that puts a target on your head to show people, oh, she don't know her value. He don't know his worth. You can take advantage of her. Look at she giving you these nice things. They take your kindness for weakness, not looking at you doing it from your heart. And you can be trying to show people, I don't need to use you to come up or nothing like that. People don't see it like that. So be led by the spirit in your giving, right? Your time is valuable. You are valuable. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. There's only one of you in this whole world. Nurture yourself. And don't compare yourself to nobody else. It'll steal your joy. It'll steal your thief. It'll steal your... Comparison is the, how they say, the thief of joy, right? Focus on what makes you happy, all right? And what made me happy right now, and I'm about to get out this thing, because this thing getting real hot. Y'all have a blessed day.